I'm Rebecca Macey, a master's student in real estate in the built environment at the University of Denver Daniels College of Business.
And I'm Omotola Williams, a master's student at the Graduate School of Social Work.
For the past 5 months, we consulted with the Colorado Nonprofit Loan Fund as a social enterprise fellows under a joint program of Civico and the Barton Institute for Community Action. This presentation outlines the project problem, approaches, findings, and recommendations for this collaboration. The Colorado Nonprofit Loan Fund is a statewide community loan fund supporting cash flow challenges of nonprofits for over 35 years. It offers bridge loans with an average amount of $20,000 to $30,000 at prime or 6.5% interest, whichever is higher, for 11 months or less. It has an engaged board of directors, specialized underwriting process, and exceptional repayment history. In recent years, the organization has noticed loan requests have fallen and its capital underutilized. CNLF seeks to determine its relevance and path forward as a source of capital for nonprofit organizations. CNLF engaged us fellows to research the scope, scale, and type of funding needs for nonprofits and social enterprises. We focused our research on brand awareness, funding needs and gaps, and crafting strategies for CNLF to better serve such organizations and make impact in their communities.
We outlined a work plan and key tasks to address the project outcomes. We employed a mixed method approach using survey and interviews to collect data and insights into the current capital financing landscape for nonprofits and social enterprises in Colorado. Our first task was to craft and distribute a survey available for completion from February 18 to March 13, 2020. We received 98 responses from all over Colorado. The breakdown is shown in the chart. We conducted follow-up interviews with 5 survey respondents and also conducted an additional interview with Paul Deckard, the managing director of a major arts and culture nonprofit, Opera Colorado. The second task was to research 7 funders within Colorado by looking at their websites and conducting follow-up interviews with 3 lenders, namely DreamSpring, First Southwest Community Fund, and First Bank. This helped us gain insight into their structure, target markets, products and services, capital sources, and investment criteria. The third task was to interview 3 consultants, each with at least 10 years plus experience in nonprofit management, while also researching 5 lenders outside Colorado, namely Nonprofit Facilities Fund, Open Road Alliance, Propel Nonprofits, Kiva.org, and Greenline Microfinance. The fourth task was to assess the brand awareness of CNLF within Colorado, nonprofit, and social enterprise sectors by incorporating questions about the brand awareness and loan participation in the survey, and by asking local lenders about the referral and marketing practices to obtain and retain clients. As the pandemic hit, we decided to reflect on the implications of COVID-19 on capital funding needs of nonprofits and social enterprises in the short and long term. We interviewed a knowledge expert in philanthropy and foundations, Rebecca Arno, to gain insight on how the pandemic has affected the giving patterns of foundations.
Our research offers some interesting key findings about the nonprofit lending market. First, brand awareness for CNLF is very low. In our survey, we incorporated questions about knowledge of CNLF and its services. Out of 97 responses, 65% had not heard of CNLF. When asked to describe CNLF and its activities, respondents were pretty on point and stated bridge loans to nonprofits. In terms of debt funding for nonprofits, there is low demand and limited supply. Our survey found that nonprofit organizations prefer philanthropic grants and are disinterested in loan funding. Interviews brought to light that organizations will look for alternative ways to raise capital, such as personal loans from a board member or using a crowdfunding platform, rather than take out a loan. The main providers of nonprofit direct lending in Colorado are banks, foundations, and community loan funds. Their loan products differ in minimum amounts, rates, and terms, but generally the lenders have similar underwriting criteria, which favor mature nonprofits with solid repayment plans. From the survey, we did identify a cross-section of prospective nonprofit borrowers. Their loan needs mainly revolve around capital improvements and require amounts in excess of $100,000. Thus, there seems to be a market demand for large-scale secured acquisition and building improvement loans. Our research found that there are many more resources available and accessible for social enterprises to obtain debt funding. Due to higher profit margins and sufficient revenue streams, social enterprises are commercially bankable and able to attract equity from impact investors. Our research found that 6 of the Colorado lenders loaned to social enterprises, and their traditional loan products met the needs of such businesses. Of note, one area that did not have as much access to funding is nonprofit social enterprises, which may be an area of interest for CNLF. Since the global pandemic has disrupted the capital markets, we wanted to understand the potential short-term and long-term implications for nonprofit lending and then determine how CNLF could provide support and impact in Colorado. Our research found that lenders' response strategies are balancing the need for speed and flexibility along with proper underwriting. The primary response has been emergency loan funds, which offer modified rates and terms. Here in Colorado, there have been 2 such funds. First, Southwest Community Fund and Greenline Ventures Microloan Fund. Funds explored at the national level were the Nonprofit Facilities, NYC COVID-19 Response and Impact Fund, and Open Road Alliance loans. And on the philanthropy side, we learned that many foundations and donors are changing their priorities due to the negative financial impact on their portfolios and sources of funds. Although foundations have been flexible with grant recipients, such as changing deliverables, any of their future philanthropic funding may be drastically reduced during our upcoming recovery years.
And so from our findings, we gleaned some insights, some market insights. The first one is build strategic partnerships. It was discovered in our interviews with both loan funds in Colorado and outside Colorado that partnerships are critical to ensuring a steady flow of loan applications. Loan funds have partnerships with banks, nonprofit organizations, small business development centers, and the Small Business Administration. During a conversation with one of the banks, it was discovered that the bank has a referral system in which it refers borrowers to local funders if it is unable to support customers' requests. Additionally, strategic partnerships enable loan funds to maximize capital sources and community impact. Many community loan funds at the national level noted that they grew in scale, in scope, and impact by pulling together capital resources from individuals, foundations, and banks. The next one is quick and easy versus flexible products. Funders have different types of loans, while the quick and easy products have the most patronage. The target market for such loans are small businesses, social enterprises with earned income, and nonprofits with delayed disbursement of committed funding. These loan types are usually less than $50,000, but are either approved or denied within a week. The underwriting procedures are partially automated to facilitate loan selection and distribution, and even offer quick online tools to determine appropriate products for applicants' situation. Alternatively, other funders offer more flexible, customized products to maximize impact. The next one is sizable capital sources. Most of the funders interviewed, both within and outside Colorado, have loan funds greater than $10 million and function as a community development financial institution, CDFI. This designation allows lenders to apply for federal government award to augment and maximize their capital funds, and thus offer more loans, larger amounts, and greater impact in their target market. And the last of the insights we gleaned is that aligning mission and impact with lending is very critical. Over the last 10 years, funders of nonprofits and social enterprises have been deliberate at ensuring that their operations and funding criteria showcase their commitment to public good and social impact.
The following 3 models explore local and national approaches on the spectrum of mission-driven debt lending. All of these innovative models take into account a defined theory of change, product diversification, and adaptable business strategies. The first model, Probate Power, provides a Colorado case study of a forgivable loan coupled with a recoverable grant and technical assistance. The second model is the Equity Builder Loan Program from Propel Nonprofits, which is a larger scale, market niche, partial forgivable loan program that helps to amplify leadership through the empowerment of a positive balance sheet. The last model is from Open Road Alliance, a private philanthropic initiative that provides capital to nonprofits and social enterprises across all sectors and geographies. Their unique investment criteria focus on mid-implementation projects facing an unexpected external roadblock and requiring one-time funding to solve the problem and create catalytic impact.
Whether in an upward trending market or an economic downturn, CNLF needs to be more competitive. 3 recommendations were proposed as potential approaches to consider for the significance and sustainability of CNLF. The first one, as we call it, is option A, build on existing strengths and increase outreach. CNLF can continue to leverage its strengths, which are engaged board of directors, clear underwriting procedure, low risk, while increasing marketing and outreach. This approach may involve increasing staff capacity, raising more capital to meet loan demands, and possibly expanding their board to be more representative of its target market. However, change in market needs and products in respect to interest rates, types of products, turnaround time, and structure might limit this strategy. The next one is option B, adapt products and services. CNLF can adapt its products and services to better fit the needs of nonprofits and focus on a specific market. This can be done in any or a combination of the following ways shown in the slide. This decision may also require more staff, changing their legal structure, increasing and targeting promotion and outreach, growing its capital base, and having a greater appetite for risk. It is, however, important to note that there's some funders already lending to the for-profit small businesses, hence entry into the market might require some effort. The third recommendation is option C, leveraging relationships and capital. CNLF can build strategic partnerships to deploy capital more effectively and enhance community impact. Some examples are, they can partner with the Scientific and Cultural Facilities District, SDFD, to provide grid loans to their qualifying organizations. They can also partner with the Denver Foundation Impact Investing Fund, Social Venture Partners, Kennedy King Foundation, Rocky Mountains Microfinance Institute, etc., to leverage the patient capital. The decision for the type of partnership agreement to explore should be made based on CNLF's intended impact or theory of change.
As CNLF reviews our research and recommendations and enters a period of reflection and decision-making, we propose the following strategic considerations. First, capacity constraints, such as examining the loan fund size, its limit on number of loans possible, and staff capacity. Second, the value of partnerships, such as capitalizing on the board of directors networks, diversifying its board's representation, and expanding its foundation partnerships. Third, clarify its theory of change. What is CNLF trying to accomplish and for whom? 4, determine impact goals. Will you remain a freestanding loan fund, leverage impact through partnerships, or target customers for greater impact? 5, opportunity to redesign. Will CNLF respond to emergent market needs like the COVID-19 crisis programs, or find creative approaches as the market moves into a recovery and growth period in the coming years?
In the course of the fellowship and work with CNLF, I discovered that lenders do not have a specific category for social enterprise organizations. They're categorized as either for-profit organizations or non-profit organizations. Secondly, I realized that the consulting process can be somewhat iterative. An hypothesis formed earlier in the work can be adjusted after receiving more information. Our initial approach was also modified to reflect the present-day realities, COVID-19. The fellowship gave me an opportunity to learn more about consulting and also deepen my interest for it.
The fellowship provided me the opportunity to explore the breadth and depth of social enterprises, work alongside smart, motivated peers, and apply learned knowledge and skills as a consultant in the real-world setting. On a micro level, in working on the CNLF project, I dove headfirst into nonprofit lending and the various sources, structures, and obstacles encountered by both lenders and borrowers. On a macro level, the fellowship introduced me to the proliferation of social impact taking place in the nonprofit and for-profit world. However, such ideas are only slowly emerging in my industry of commercial real estate. I'm looking forward to bringing my social impact mindset into the decisions and actions I undertake in my career in real estate development and investment.
Thank you.
Thank you.